Spawning in the top right position as the yellow Zerg player for Team FXO Europe, I believe. It is Lowly. And spawning in the bottom left position, bottom right, as red Protoss player is NaNiwa. So, as I said, guys, this is a best of 5, so it's it should be good. We got a lot of games coming. Plenty of games coming up for this day, so I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to this. NaNiwa actually, I'm trying to remember. NaNiwa, I believe, played Bly in his group, so kind of interesting. We're seeing these players come out against each other. I believe Lowly was in MMA's group, and I think what we saw out of Lowly was some pretty cheesy play, if I recall correctly. I believe we saw some 12 pools. We saw some interesting play, so I'm wondering if Lowly's going to continue any of that behavior, if we're going to see any more awkward timings. And there he goes. He's actually going to go for that 12 pool. So if you guys have been missing out on your RSL stuff, I've been doing a lot of the casts for this. So if you want to catch up any of the VODs, you can always check my channels and stuff. I'll link them after the game. But this is we've seen some really great games, and there's some pretty interesting trends we've been following. So Lowly. He's shown so far in RSL, he's not afraid to go for some really aggressive early plays. We've seen really fast roach busts out of Lowly. We've seen some even really cheesy, I believe. A lot of infestor play though. He really seems to favor 2-base infestors more than anything else. Lowly, he doesn't show too much Mutalisk play, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him drone up a second base, possibly go for some early aggression, but move into infestors off of 2 bases before he goes to really take a third and try to just rush for that hive tech. So we're going to have to see, but 4 Zerglings on the way now. But we did have a Forge opener by NaNiwa, properly reacting to the play that that Lowly was presenting. So this is exactly what he needs to do. He's going to have his Photon Cannon up more than early enough in time to deal with this. The Zergling's going to shove this probe away. He's going to take that natural hatchery. And actually, there's a little bit of a supply trick to cap himself some extra units. Overlord comes out, though, so it's all good. Cannon will definitely finish before the Zerglings get here. And NaNiwa, I feel like NaNiwa is he's a really scary player. When I look at them, I don't really see these two guys being as close in terms of their international competition. So NaNiwa definitely going to be our favored player for this match. But Lowly has shown us some sick moves. Definitely a force to be reckoned with making it to this stage. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this. NaNiwa's expansion is going to finish up very soon. And Lowly, he's taking that gas. So it looks like he'd be going for some 2-base aggression. Not 100% sure. NaNiwa's going to come out with his probe. Sees, okay, you have a hatchery going. Gets past the queen. He's going to try to check that gas. He's moving over to the left side. Will he be able to spot it? No, the queen's headed to the right side. NaNiwa will definitely see it if he goes up. And that probe moves and boom, sees the gas. Like, okay, Lowly takes gas. Could be some kind of cheese. You know, it's prepared for pretty much anything. But as a Protoss player, most of what you need to do, NaNiwa apparently, pause, please, I have a bug. There's literally a bug, like, on his screen or something, like he tried to kill. Lowly says kill it. Man, Lowly giving me the assist, but, sorry. He says go. And Lowly says ready, so we're gonna continue this game on. Now that said, that probe did see everything. The queen will clean it up, so nothing crazy happening there. And now we have Lowly starting to drone up the natural. No tech decision made yet, though. No Zergling speed. He's almost at 100 gas, so I feel like he's gonna go Zergling speed. Just because he, of course, could have started Baneling Nest, could have gone for a slowing Bane all-in or something a little while ago. But the biggest thing in terms of what NaNiwa would need to do, if he scouts any kind of real aggression coming at him, well, you know, just add maybe, you know, another cannon or 2. Force fields are really good at holding these sorts of things off. And the Cybernetic Scroll will be done soon as well. So we'll see a tech option from NaNiwa come out. Now, he plays a lot with a lot of Korean players, with a lot of Korean practicing, so I wouldn't be surprised if NaNiwa sticks to the current really big popular Korean meta for Wings of Liberty, which is Stargate openers after expansions. We've seen a little bit more variety lately out of Pro League players, but NaNiwa is going to get that Stargate, so I'm not surprised by this. Should see him take both the rest of his gas and his natural pretty soon as well, unless he wants to go for some kind of fast timing. But the Overlord for Lowly should see, okay, you're not getting an early upgrade. This could definitely be Stargate. you're putting in a lot of gas into getting sentries and Phoenix out. So not 100% sure if LoWeLy will note that, but he's getting his lair now. He's getting this spawning pool up. This is kind of interesting. He's getting double evolution chamber, and this is kind of what I expected. So we should see that 1/1 come out and an infestation pit once lair is done. But a really late third coming out for LoWeLy. And NaNiwa, I feel like, is a player that if you're going to play against him, you really should try to do something to catch him off guard, because he's a very strong player and really smashes a lot of guys on an even skill level. So I'm really interested to see how LoWeLy's somewhat different style will pan out versus NaNiwa. Of course, the standard Zerg versus Protoss meta is about a 14-15 pool. Then you go double hatchery once you shove the probes away from your natural. And you generally move into a roach composition and get your lair about 7-minute mark. So it's not like the lair timing is awkward. It's just the way that he's setting this up. Baneling Nest is on the way for LoWeLy. He's getting that 1/1. Keep in mind, he's getting the attack upgrade for Zerglings, so he could be trying to go for some kind of 2-base Baneling aggression. I feel like we'll see an infestation pit, though. He's starting his macro hatchery before third base. Interesting to note. And we have creep on the third for NaNiwa, so he's not going to be able to expand just yet. Now, the Phoenix are out on the field. He's waiting for this last third one, most likely, before he actually pushes out and let the fourth one catch up with the others. The Overseer does spot this, though, so he scouts the Stargate. And he sees the 3 Phoenix. He's going to immediately get that infestation pit and a Spore Crawler at the natural. Should see a Spore Crawler in the main base as well. There we go, right there. And this Jones getting ready to take a third base. So LoWeLy, he's taking it slow, but I'm not surprised at all by his style of play. We've seen this in pretty much all of his games against Protoss, as well as Terran, actually. LoWeLy is going for this style of a lot of 2-base infestor plays. So he also typically likes to favor a little bit of that burrow tactics against Terran, but not quite as useful versus a race that has a detector to start off every single game with. But the 4 Phoenix are coming in. NaNiwa going to see if he can do any damage. He's catching a couple of these Overlords, not in the best position. 4 Queens, by the way, 1 lift. He will be able to kill the Queen, so LoWeLy needs to be really careful. A lot of Overlords are dying here. He's not supply blocked yet, but he's taking a significant amount of damage. A lot of resources lost are going to go up. And NaNiwa, he's doing a great job with this. He's only lost 100 resources, and I think that was just 2 probes. A 5th Phoenix made by NaNiwa, which is also really interesting to see. But he's keeping up his transition. He's moving into Immortals. He's getting his upgrades now, and he's adding on gateways. He could just go for a big 2-base follow-up timing to this. There's a Spore Crawler here, but there's no creep for it. And NaNiwa is just going to kill this Queen and then back off. So really great play there. He took a lot of, I guess I'd say paint damage on the Phoenix, but there's no anti-air yet. So we have Ventral Sacs and Pneumaticized Carapace coming up for LoWeLy. So what it looks like he wants to do, possibly do some big Roach drop, Infestor drops. I mean, he doesn't actually have a Roach Horn. All he has tech-wise are the Baneling Nest, the Spawning Pool, and the Infestation Pit. Maybe what he wants to do, he doesn't have Baneling speed, so maybe he's looking to go Ling Infestor Baneling with drops on top of the units for NaNiwa. It's not as popular a strategy as it used to be in terms of crazy meta builds, but it could work if NaNiwa does not have a proper amount of Colossi to deal splash damage, doesn't spread his army well enough. But it looks like he wants to just go for this big 2-base push. He's got a lot of sentries with a lot of energy and 2 Immortals, so this is a very strong, powerful timing. He has +1 attack. Keep in mind, though, +1/1 is complete for LoWeLy, so the Zealots will not, in fact, 2-shot the Zerglings. He has that. He's equalized the upgrades, as it were. It's just going to be a lot of Zerglings and Infestors, and I have to say, this army composition actually looks really good for LoWeLy. When Ventral Sacs completes, he could actually drop right on top of this. The force fields aren't going to do anything. There's barely any anti-air to actually kill the Overlords, and I feel like a really big Baneling drop on this could just wipe out this force completely. And I wonder if NaNiwa's expecting this, or if he's taken this possibility into account, but Ventral Sacs is now complete. LoWeLy's going to load up his Overlords with all these Banelings. Needs to make sure he doesn't load up the Infestor Zone. Here he goes. He's going to move in. He's going to try to fungal these units in place. The Overlords are moving in. The Phoenix are attacking the Overlords, but it's not going to be enough. The drops are coming in. The Banelings are going to start hitting these units. Some good force fields up front, though. Some of these Banelings not actually managing to get the hits off on him. And then splashing now on the Stalkers kills the Immortals. A really good hold of this push, killing off completely everything that NaNiwa had. And NaNiwa, I really feel like he wasn't expecting that. This unorthodox play by LoWeLy paying off big dividends. He's ahead 30 supply now. There's a Colossus on the way, but that Colossus is literally all he has, aside from these 3 Phoenix and the 2 Stalkers in this Warp Prism. So LoWeLy can retake this third base pretty comfortably. He doesn't have to worry about any follow progression coming from a very long time. And keep in mind, that third base, creep's gone, but there's a Zergling there now. So he's got it blocked off. NaNiwa, no third base by around the 14-minute mark. So this is pretty significant. Now, LoWeLy did lose his third base, but NaNiwa's going for a big Zealot warp in into the main base. He's just going to try to shut him down. There's a hive on the way for LoWeLy, so he's going to see this as well. There's a spider building too, so he's going to try to move straight into Broodlords. These Zealots and Stalkers are going to get caught by the Zerglings. The Infestors are here, of course, the fungal growth, anything down. Gets a fungal on the Phoenix. These will die to the Queens. Nice play by LoWeLy. Misses another fungal, though. But a warping, he's going to try to cancel the third base again for LoWeLy. And I feel like LoWeLy's units, they're fast, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to stop these Zealots. We're trying to focus it down. If he can stop them from killing this, it'd be huge. But no, he loses the hatchery. Doesn't even get a chance to cancel it, so the drone is gone as well. Picks up the 2 Zealots. And he's just going to try to use his Phoenix to pick up these Infestors and just kill them. But, oh my goodness, there's not enough energy for another fungal growth. So he's kind of holding him there. And NaNiwa, right now, he's just building up Colossus and doing a lot of harass with this. I feel like he's really far behind after that. He lost so many sentries. He lost so many everything, in all honesty. But what NaNiwa did is good against the standard meta of a lot of roaches, maybe some Zerglings, but definitely not Infestors this fast. Definitely not Infestorling with Baneling drops. Like, that's, the timing was almost perfect for LoWeLy. Exactly when NaNiwa reached his natural expansion where he would possibly have been able to win the game normally, he just stomped him with that. So I'm curious to see how this is going to play out. Now, he has 2 Colossi. So there's a lot of area of effect damage now that he can bring against the Zergling forces, but if LoWeLy chooses to utilize the drop option again, he could do quite a bit of damage. And he's actually moving 3 Overlords to the bottom area. We could see something like that. There really isn't too much here for NaNiwa. Consider they have very low energy. There's only 1 force field per each one right now. So there are a bunch of Stalkers here to help supplement this force, but a really good surround could pay off. And it looks like he wants to go for a triple Overlord drop into the main base of NaNiwa with all of these Zerglings. NaNiwa is slowly catching up in his macro. The supply gap is starting to even out a little bit. NaNiwa, a very scary player, as I said. But I'm curious this goes. This Overlord's going to run into the natural. There's actually nothing in it, but doesn't really force anything out of NaNiwa. This triple Overlord drop could actually be really, really big, I have to say. And NaNiwa, he looks like he just wants to not even take a third base. He's changed his mind. He killed the Zergling. He's just going to try to kill LoWeLy here with this big push coming in. But there are already 5 Broodlords on the way. There's no... Is there even Blink for the Stalkers? Yes. Okay, so there is Blink. It's all going to be about if he can push through and actually get these Broodlords. That's kind of insane. He's got these Broodlords perfectly timed for this push when he hits. All he needs to do is survive long enough for the Broodlords to start unleashing some pain. The Infestors are on the wrong side of this equation, though. He's going to throw down the Infested Terrans, but if the Stalkers blink up onto the Broodlords, that's huge. Oh my goodness, the Infested Terrans coming in, the Zerglings moving. The Colossi, though, are safely tucked in the back, but the Broodlords are now entering the fight. Beginning to unload on these Stalkers. The Zergling drop has ravaged the main base of NaNiwa. The probes are all dead. He's killed the gases. He's shutting down the tech, shutting down the production. The gateways under massive amounts of fire. NaNiwa only has this single mining base. His natural expansion. Barely any production. He's trying to open some Zealots to clean this up, but is it going to be enough? I'm not so sure. He can't really push in against LoWeLy's Broodlord force right now. And LoWeLy, you know, he wasn't able to saturate his third until the 18-minute mark, but he held everything NaNiwa had to throw at him with his very unorthodox play. I guess you could say it's standard for LoWeLy, though. We saw this coming, but he has done crippling amounts of damage, and NaNiwa just going to go for it. The Broodlords are here. He's going to try to blink straight onto them. There are Banelings here to actually hit these Stalkers as well. He could do a lot of damage, but all the Broodlords have actually been focused down, so there's only 1 left. And I feel like with that, NaNiwa's army might actually be cost-effective to break this. LoWeLy's going to make some more Zerglings, but the fact that these Broodlords are still the fact that these Colossus are still alive is a huge issue for LoWeLy. It's such a very awkward base trade situation, but LoWeLy is going to need a little bit more power behind his force. If he can kill these Colossus, then he's fine, but I'm not so sure anymore. The barely left resources from NaNiwa are going to be put into rebuilding this. He doesn't actually have any proxy buildings, just the pylon at his third, but in a literal base trade scenario, there are cannons in the natural. There's a Zealot here now. He has that +2 attack upgrade. I think NaNiwa might barely be able to survive. He's finally got the supply lead back. Without those Broodlords, though, LoWeLy cannot do too much. I have to say, he's going to have to forfeit the third base. If he can get more Broodlords, he might be able to shove this back, but those Stalkers blinking under are basically just one in the game. And now there are a lot more Stalkers. There's still 3 Colossi with +2 attack. I think this NaNiwa might actually have been able to turn this game around. The Corruptors are trying to come in here and pick off the Colossus, but Manages to get one of them. The Zergling's moving in, though. I'm just not so sure this is going to work. The Infestors are out of energy. And he only picked off one Colossi. 2 are still a very large number to deal with when you're just using Zerglings. So you might just see him pull everything and try to shut this down. He's got 2 more Corruptors and a couple more Zerglings coming in. Here we go. He's just going to send everything. He's not even pulling drones, though. He's moving the Infestors, throwing what's left of his eggs out there. And NaNiwa has stabilized in his natural expansion. We may see him try to take a 3rd base relatively soon. And LoWeLy, after having such a great lead, pulls the drones. This is pretty much it, guys. He had a great lead, and there's the GG, though. NaNiwa takes game number 1 in this best of 5 series. Well played. Well played by NaNiwa, I have to say. The decision to go for that big push instead of taking a 3rd base worked really well because that Broodlord count was going to get out of hand very quickly otherwise. So good on him, guys. This is a best of 5, so we have a couple more games to go. Don't go anywhere, though. We will be here with the next game as soon as